everybody, here we are, We-MNF. Today we have a special day. So I'm hosting and I will bring three tracks from the first album of a fantastic Brazilian band, which is originally from the 70s, but in fact, as I will tell later, they kept working in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, but they are mostly known by their recordings in the beginning of the 70s. So the band is called Secos e Molhados. Secos e Molhados, it's a special expression in Portuguese because let me see if I can explain. So that's a heritage from Portugal. And we have this kind of small groceries stores in the neighborhood where they sell secos e molhados, which means they sell dry stuff like seeds, nuts, rice, beans, but they also sell wet things like sausages in conservation and things like this. So that's very hard to translate. It would be dry and wet in English, but I think it doesn't make much sense in English. So that's why I'm telling the background story for what secos e molhados means. And that's a very Portuguese expression from Portugal. And the reason why this is named the band is because one of the main composers, or the main composer in the band, was João Ricardo, who is a Portuguese guy. And then he made this band, with Gerson Conrad and Ney Matogrosso. So João Ricardo was composing most of the tracks, playing acoustic guitar, playing harmonica, and singing. Gerson Conrad was playing acoustic guitar and singing, and Ney Matogrosso was singing. And Ney Matogrosso is one of the most fantastic singers that Brazil ever saw. And I would say one of the most fantastic singers that the world ever saw. So those of you who are not familiar with Brazilian music, buckle up for a special experience, and you will see. You'll see because I'm also bringing some videos. So you see an incredible performer and an incredible singer, and you see the guy who was making the whole band, in fact, using painted faces. And it's a famous story that Kiss, the rock band, came to Brazil, saw, or I don't think it was the whole Kiss band, but one of the members of Kiss came to Brazil, saw Secos e Molhados, and that's the origins of the painted faces in Kiss, that they were influenced, inspired by Secos e Molhados. So prepare yourself for a great performance and a great singer. For those of you who are interested in this story and the life of Ney Matogrosso, there is a movie that was just appeared in the movies theaters about his life. How's called the movie? I forgot the name of the movie now. Do you remember, Chico? Yeah, I don't remember.
Homem com H.
Homem com H. Yeah,
Man,
man with
man, é,
Man with
e-
M. Man with M, because homem com H only in Portuguese. In English, should be man with M. And that's a reference to one important song that Ney Matogrosso recorded in the 80s. So the guy had an amazing life. He's an amazing guy, amazing singer. So it's good to see the movies. I thought about bringing Secos e Molhados as following a suggestion by one of our listeners, my dear friend Yuri Costa, who suggested after we made the program on Clube da Esquina, that would be very interesting to make recordings that could making episodes that could discuss how rock and roll music was reinterpreted and put in the cauldron of influences in Brazilian music. And so Clube da Esquina has this aspect. We mentioned in the episode we made about this incredible recording by Milton Nascimento, Lo Borges, and the group of friends who are called Clube da Esquina, about the influence of Beatles in the music there. And today we see another band that will bring a rock and roll influence, put in the mix with Brazilian music, Tropicalia, which is an important movement in Brazilian music, popular Brazilian music, and made their own thing. So so Yuri, second time we go into discussing the influence of rock and roll and the reinterpretation of rock and roll in Brazilian music, and thanks to your suggestion. And before we play the first track, we need to say that this formation that I just told you about, João Ricardo, Gerson Conrad, and Ney Matogrosso, recorded only two albums, the first two albums of Secos e Molhados, 1973, Secos e Molhados 1, 1974, Secos e Molhados 2, and then Ney Matogrosso left the band and was starting the construction of his very, very, very successful solo career that goes up to these days. So I think he's 75 years old. He's still making shows. He's still dancing very energetically in the stage. So the guy is really amazing. But Secos e Molhados continued for a time with João Ricardo and Gerson Conrad, and then later on, Gerson Conrad also left the band. So the band basically became João Ricardo with the colleagues he would call to make the recordings. So the band would have this first incarnation, 1973, 1974. Then they were recording from 1977 to 1980. Then they stopped. Then they came back in 1980. Then they stopped. They came back in 1999 to 2000. Then they stopped and they came back 2011 to 2012. So it's a back and forth band, coming and going band. But most people simply don't know anything else than the first two recordings of Secos e Molhados. You don't know anything about that
No,
yet.
too much information, not so much music in this period. That is very strange. I never heard about
Yeah,
any
yeah.
music about this period.
And I should also say that I have only written information. I didn't hear any of these things, but I became curious. So I'll try to hear. Because it's obviously Ney Matogrosso is a fantastic singer, and I will miss that. But the compositions are quite good in Secos e Molhados, and most of the compositions are from João Ricardo. So
Yeah.
I'm definitely curious to listen to these later recordings. Yeah, evidently it is funny that all this time that Secos e Molhado continue to record, even though it is coming in and coming back all the time, so it's not continuous. It seems like they got together, made one recording, then they stop it, based just in the chronology that I got for the information. So all this time, Ney Matogrosso has been continuously successful in his career. So there is an interesting contrast here between the two things. So okay, so I'll bring three tracks from the first album. By the way, it is not exactly Secos e Molhados one. That's an information I got in Wikipedia. But the album is called The Return of Secos e Molhados, A Volta de Secos e Molhados, which is quite funny. The return of those who never came. Yeah, so it's another is a joke in the in the in the album. We will need to show this cover after I play the tracks. The cover is amazing. So I brought one song called Sangue Latino. So it's Late in Blood. Another song, O Pão Nosso de Cada Dia, Our Daily Bread, which uh, making fun of censorship in Brazil because it is a version of it's called o Patrão Nosso de Cada Dia. The Patrão Nosso de Cada Dia, our daily boss. And it's a joke with the pray, our daily bread. And Rosa de Hiroshima. So I'll begin with Sangue Latino, so I'll share the from YouTube now. And it's a live performance because this music really demands a live performance. So let me share here and do all the usual stuff. Bring us back here. in the video panel and try to make us a little bigger. But I think we are too big. Let me make us a bit smaller. And then I can also make this thing disappear, which is always good. And so, be prepared. Let's go, Sangue Latino. That's amazing, yeah? It's amazing bass, isn't it? You are playing. We can't hear, Chico. We can't hear. You know that.
Yes.
But it's a great.
Spam.
Do you know who plays this bass?
No,
Willy
but
Verdager. Do you know this guy, Willy Verdager?
no.
No, this is the guy who made this bass.
Great bass line.
Great
Genius
bass
bass
line.
line.
Genius bass line. And the song is written by João Ricardo and Paulinho Mendonça. So uh, we could talk a bit about the lyrics because it is in Portuguese. All the people were able to see what an amazing performance by Ney Matogrosso. All the painting and the clothes all were made by him. He was a multimedia artist. He still is. So he was preparing everything. And the lyrics, if we translate into English, would be something like this. I've sworn lies and I'm following alone. I'm taking on the sins. The north winds don't move the windmills, and all I have left is a moan. My life, my dead, like my dead people, my crooked ways, my latent blood, my captive soul. And this is the chorus, yeah? I've broken treaties, I've betrayed the rights, I've broken the spear, I've thrown it into space. A cry, an outburst, and what matters to me is that I'm not defeated. And then he repeats, my life, my dead, my crooked ways, my latent blood, my captive soul. And I was reading some interpretation of these lyrics and a scholar saying, well, that's about the tormented spirit, the tormented soul of a Latin American boy and all the turmoil that was happening in many Latin American countries in the 70s and 60s with dictatorships and all that. I think it's a reasonable interpretation, yeah?
Yes, I think it's about that.
Yeah.
We have a Portuguese in the band. And in Portugal, just in 74, that finished the Salazar dictatorship too. So it is not is in both ways. This was a team for the band.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. That was well remembered, well remembered, and you can imagine that was 1973. It is amazing what Ney Matogrosso is doing because he's
Yes.
he's a very androgen guy making all this performance. That was Brazilian television, and yeah, yeah, it's very, very bold, very courageous thing to do.
It was. I don't know if it was before or after David Bowie, the Zig Stardust.
It's simultaneous, the
The
same year, same year.
same
Ziggy
same
Stardust in
year,
1973. Yeah.
because the Kiss, the band Kiss, we here in Brazil we heard about a lot about that. The Kiss copied the masks of the Secos Molhados,
Yeah, I have a
but
different interpretation. Exactly copying. They got an
yeah,
inspiration. They saw something, got inspired.
they saw that and
Yeah.
tried to do something
It's often
because
it's the case that the painting is quite similar. That's true.
yes, because David Bowie was different, I think.
Yeah.
Uh,
But there is a lot in Secos e Molhados that has a relation to glam rock, yeah. Which
yeah,
exactly
yeah,
even this
yeah,
yeah.
what Bowie was starting in
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Bowie, and then you have the New York Dolls. The New York Dolls, they were painting that
Alice Cooper,
Alice Cooper, yeah, yeah. So there is a back and
mm,
forth here, yeah. So Glenn
and
was very influential.
Peter Gabriel.
And
With,
Peter
with,
Gabriel, and Peter
but
Gabriel.
is complete different vibe. But uh, I did. I don't know how can I say about the pictures,
The
the
painting, the painting, makeups,
the
yeah.
paint, the makeups was incredible. I love
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
makeups of Peter Gabriel
So in a
shows.
sense, Ney Matogrosso, by bringing this to Secos e Molhados, he was in the spirit of the day, yeah. But the difference, an important difference, there was no dictatorship in UK,
Yeah.
yeah, where David Bowie and Peter Gabriel are doing that, and the
Even
Brazilian,
in USA too, it
even in
was.
USA, and the Brazilian family tradition was very conservative, and you have this guy dancing in a very androgynous way, painted, half naked. Yeah, it was something. It was something. And in the movie, they show that they had some problems because of censorship and people in
Ah,
Recife. In
even the
Recife, they were
guys,
prohibited to play. Yeah,
even the guys in the band,
yeah, they were not so comfortable.
they want to that do that. Just is a
Yeah,
thing that
yeah, yeah,
created by Ney Matogrosso, and
yeah,
they was suggested by the manager uh, to follow the the
yeah. The idea, yeah, and
the
it
idea.
was and it was fundamental for this their success. Yeah, it brought a lot of attention to them. So okay, so we got this feeling of Sangue Latino. Let's move on to the next track I brought from the album. It's this Our Boss of our everyday, our daily boss, and it's an amazing track. That, as I said, is making a kind of joke with the prey, our daily, our daily bread. Yeah, and that was very provocative too. So let's go for this now. Here's the cover.
Eu quero o amor da flor de cactus, ela não quis. Eu dei-lhe a flor de minha vida, vivo agitado. Eu já não sei se sei de tudo ou quase tudo. Eu só sei de mim, de nós, de todo mundo. Eu vivo preso à sua senha, sou enganado. Eu solto ar no fim do dia, perdi a vida. Eu já não sei se sei de nada ou quase nada. Eu só sei de mim, só sei de mim, só sei de mim. O patrão nosso de cada dia, dia após dia. De cada dia, dia após dia. O patrão nosso de cada dia, dia após dia. O patrão nosso de cada dia.
Tubular Bells. Let me move this a bit so that we can take a look. So this is the cover of the first album, 1973, and the cover of the second album, 1974. The two albums with Ney Matogrosso. And the cover of the first album is amazing. So it's a reference to I told you, there's a grocery store, Secos Molhados. So we have several things that are sold in grocery store, and the heads of the four guys like in a plate here. And it's fun that there are four guys. So the band was Gerson Conrad, João Ricardo, and Ney Matogrosso. So I don't know who is the fourth guy. Perhaps the bass player, Willy Verdager. Yeah, possibly. Because you see the instrumentation, what you have uh, other than the acoustic guitars is the flutes and the bass. Yeah. Yeah. So one nice thing about this is that's a studio recording, and I think then we can appreciate better what an incredible color Ney Matogrosso has in the voice. And I
Yes, Ney
really
Mato
love,
Grosso, before the band, Ney Mato Grosso was already being recognized as a great singer, not just because uh, the amplitude of his voice,
the range of the
the
voice.
range is thank you, the range of his voice, but to the kind of sound it
Yeah.
is his voice, the
Timbre, timbre.
timbre.
Yeah, yeah. And it is but he was by saying recognized, he didn't have a career as a singer.
Yes, but
Yeah, he was singing
he
in
he
chorus, in chorus. Yeah,
yes, in these small groups, when he sing together, uh, the maestro, I don't know
Yeah,
if
the
was
maestro.
the maestro, point out this quality in his
Yeah,
voice,
yeah. He,
and
he,
said to
it
him that he has had a special voice.
exactly disappear in the movie, yeah. And he even
Yes,
says that he
yes.
sounds like a castrati.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a very peculiar voice, a very peculiar color. And
Here in Brazil, we don't have any singer similar to him.
oh
Not
yeah,
because listen his singer, not watching his singer, because he has so many uh, uh, ways to express yourself.
yeah, 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 yeah.
But
That
just singing, he's a special.
is true. It's true.
This
It's
is
true.
important to say about the he.
By the way, the two Brazilian Brazilian groups we brought both had singers with very special voices. Milton Nascimento, very peculiar voice,
Wow, yes.
and Ney Matogrosso, another very peculiar voice. So they are,
Peculiar voice, we have some,
yeah, yeah,
but
yeah,
any like him, any like Milton is they
yeah,
are
yeah, yeah.
different.
They're unique. They are unique. They're
They're
unique.
unique.
Both are unique voices. And but I like to point this out now because when we just listen as we just did, it's then you pay more attention to that because as he said, he's expressing himself in so many ways that
Yeah,
so many things happening that the voice becomes one more thing in the middle of
yeah,
many.
and he is a great singer. It's not
He's
any
a great
singer.
singer. Yeah,
It's important
yeah,
because it's
yeah.
too extravagant.
He's
Uh,
a great singer, great stage presence,
yeah.
great composer.
In this song that we just heard uh, before, we can feel how beautiful his voice is. Very touching in a higher frequency.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah,
it's
exactly.
incredible. It's very incredible.
Yeah.
The clarity
S-
is
Oh
great.
yeah, 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 yeah. The voice is really amazing. So this is a song, o Patrão Nosso de Cada Dia, né? Our daily boss, is written by the music is written by João Ricardo, but the lyrics is a poem by the Portuguese poet Fernando Pessoa. And this is something that
Beautiful.
Secos Molhados invented. So the original idea of the band was we should take poems from different poets and we should make music with it. So that was fundamental. Many lyrics are from poems. So
Really beautiful lyrics.
yeah, but let's translate the lyrics for
Okay,
our spectators who are not Portuguese speaking people. So
you
the
do that.
lyrics, yeah, and that's difficult because it's a poem by Fernando Pessoa. But I did my best. So the lyrics goes like that. I want the love from the cactus flower. She didn't want it. I gave her the flower of my life. I live in turmoil. I don't know if I know everything or almost everything. I only know about me, about us, about the whole world. I live trapped in your password. I am deceived. I let the air out. At the end of the day, I've lost my life. I don't know if I know of nothing or almost nothing. I only know about me. I only know about me. I only know about me. Our daily boss, daily, day after day. So that's where the joke of our daily bread appears. So that's an amazing lyrics and an amazing song. So prepare for the last one, Chico. I told you it was a tour de force. So the last one is very short, but it is one of the most amazing songs by Secos Molhados, and that's music is a music made by Gerson Conrad on an incredible poem by the Brazilian poet Vinícius de Moraes. So you already know what it is, and I showed something that is live. The image quality is not great, but it is interesting to see. So let's go for Rosa de Hiroshima.
Pensem nas crianças mudas telepáticas. Pensem nas meninas cegas inexatas. Pensem nas mulheres rotas alteradas. Pensem nas feridas como rosas cálidas. Mas ó, não se esqueçam da rosa, da rosa. Da rosa de Hiroshima, rosa hereditária. A rosa radioativa, estúpida, inválida. A rosa com cirrose, a anti-rosa atômica. Sem cor, sem perfume, sem rosa, sem moda.
Oh, it's amazing, isn't it?
Beautiful.
Really amazing. And oops, okay. I had some problem here with YouTube was moving to the next video. So that's an amazing song, amazing performance by Ney Matogrosso in a place that doesn't exist anymore. You saw it was in Maracanãzinho. So that's a place that doesn't exist anymore in Rio de Janeiro. Yeah, yeah, it was great. And so this song is based on this poem by Vinícius de Moraes, A Rosa de Hiroshima, which is an anti-nuclear poem that is about the bombs that were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So that's why it's called The Flower of Hiroshima, yeah? So the lyrics are incredibly beautiful. They say, think of the children, mute, telepathic. Think of the girls, blind, inexact. Think of the women, altered roots. Think of the wounds like wormholes, roses. But oh, don't forget the rose, the rose, the rose from Hiroshima, hereditary rose. The radioactive rose, stupid, invalid. The rose with cirrhosis, the atomic anti-rose, with no color, with no perfume, with no rose, with nothing. That's an amazing, amazing poem by Vinícius de Moraes, and the composition is so beautiful. And one thing that I was thinking, Chico, the bass lines in these three tracks are quite nice, yeah? Quite
Yeah,
beautiful bass sound. It's a beautiful bass sound.
all the bass and the album is great.
Yeah.
There is a song that O gato preto cruzou a estrada.
Uvira.
Cruzou. and the bass line is on walking bass is very cool,
Yeah,
very
it's very
very
good. Yeah, very
funny.
good.
Very-
Yeah, that's another track. Now, we certainly, as usual, encourage you to listen to the whole album, stream it, buy it. You should listen to the whole album. And she could just mention another fantastic track in this album called Uvira, which kind of Portuguese from Portugal, rock and roll. It's very good. It's very good. So it's a great, great track. And I don't know what instrument he's using, but it has a very beautiful bass sound.
Yes, yes.
I don't
And
know.
uh, uh, important to say too that the last song you put was the show in Maracanãzinho,
Yeah,
and it's was I couldn't see. I was uh, I exist already, but I was very little.
yeah, me too. So this show in Maracanãzinho, yeah, was all the shows they made were incredible shows, but this show is very very renowned by being an incredible show. And one thing that happened is that it's interesting because on the one hand, it's really hard to see how the Brazilian very traditional families could accept that. But at the
Yeah.
same time, the children loved it.
Mhm.
The children loved Secos Molhados because of the performance. And I remember I never went to any show when I was a child of Secos Molhados for sure. I was too little. But I remember seeing this in TV as a small kid. And it
Yeah.
was very enticing, it was for the children. So I don't know if this played a role in this. They were outrageous for the traditional Brazilian family, and they
But
still
at
they
the
got
same time,
successful.
it was they all were very funny
Yeah,
to
yeah.
listen. I was 4 years old.
They were playful. They were playful. They
Yes,
were
and
playful.
me and my sister, my older sister, we sing along. O
The
Gato Preto
dra-
Cruzou,
yeah,
because
yeah,
there is a part that they sing. Uh, E lá no fundo azul da noite da. So
yeah, yeah, yeah,
we
yeah,
we play along with this kind of um
yeah. So, so,
uh
so, so, so I think this might have been important for their acceptance. They were so playful. So in a sense, it was like sound outrageous. The guy was half naked. The guy was very androgynous, and that was not well accepted in Brazilian society. It's still not well accepted today. There's still a lot of homophobic feelings in Brazilian society, but at the same time, they were so playful. So I think they kind of disarmed the predictable negative reaction by being so playful. And I think there was something about Ney Matogrosso in particular, because the other guys they were just in the back, not so comfortable with being painted like that and doing nothing like the body performance of Ney Matogrosso. But Ney Matogrosso was an incredible free guy, yeah. He was transpiring how free I am, how I'm able of expressing myself in such an amazing way. And
yeah.
so I think he disarmed people in a sense, even
Yeah,
though there was a lot of bad
I think
reaction.
this kind of way of 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 his performance has appeal with children because children don't have
Don't care.
the
Don't care.
prejudice that
Yeah, yeah,
adults have.
exactly, exactly.
So
Exactly. So he created a fantastic character who was appealing to children. And I don't know if everybody ever analyzed that. I don't have a clue. But just raising a hypothesis that the fact that children loved so much may have disarmed some of the conservative reactions. Because you know it's a little embarrassing that your children are enjoying it and say, "No, you can see that." Well, certainly some parents did that. But part of the parents say, well, but they love so much. Yeah, let's tolerate because, and
it's
then they could break through the conservatism.
this was a way better generation than generation of Xuxa, and
Yeah, no, people don't know about Shusha. Okay. Well, don't come with your prejudice against the 80s. We were teenagers in the 80s. No, no, no. I will not accept that because the 80s were fantastic too. But okay, so that was Tour de Force through Secos e Molhados and our second episode on Brazilian music. I hope that people who doesn't know Brazilian music is encouraged by us to delve more into it and then go to Secos e Molhados, listen to their recordings. It's really an amazing band who deserves a lot of attention, worldwide attention. So, okay, so thank you very much for being with us. As we said before, it's very fun to be doing that. I hope it's fun to watch. And if you like it, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and keep following us. We will be sharing music continuously every Sunday because that's our goal to share music. Bye bye.
bye, guys.